In the second episode of Tower of God, we are introduced to the source of power within the world, which is named as Shinsu, which literally defines as the divine water, which is a substance that flows through and is produced by the tower itself. And according to Liroro, the one who introduced us to this ability, Shinsu is said to have no limits. Through Shinsu alone, one can attain eternal youth, immortality, control over the elements, and even powers of a god. One thing that Liroro do not mention in the anime but does mention in the webtoon is that there is a rumor that an individual named Enryu is also able to create life using Shinsu. So what is Shinsu and how exactly does it work? Well, Shinsu literally translates to divine water, which is a substance that flows through and is produced by the tower itself. Each floor has varying amounts of Shinsu density, increasing with each floor. In lower concentrations, its density makes the substance act like a gas, but in higher concentrations, it behaves like a liquid, as Liroro displayed to us when he used the candidate to display and simulate what floor 30 would be like compared to floor 1, which they are currently on right now. Shinsu's most significant difference to air is the law in by which it operates. Unlike air, which uniformly conforms to the laws of pressure when flowing, Shinsu has no unifying law. So therefore, on floor 1 you can see how it's more of like a gas substance, but when you go higher and higher, it has its own unique set of rules, which allows it to behave differently in higher concentrations. It flows entirely differently in different places and floors at both its own whim and that of the guardian of the floor, which will be explained later in the show, but guardians of the floor are very important to each floor. The flow of Shinsu determines its qualities, allowing it to appear as fire, water, light, and other phenomena and material. Shinsu has no singular property or feature and is rather the very basis of all energy and things within the tower. So think of it as nature energy from the Naruto franchise, as Naruto was able to go into Sage mode and turn nature's energy into chakra and manipulate that. So Shinsu is that, but onto another level, as Shinsu can be manipulated into material, elements, and other phenomena that will be shown to us at a later stage in the series. Shinsu is also essential for the living in the tower, as it allows for breathing and provides moisture for the inhabitants, much like how oxygen would for us on Earth. Liroro also states that within the tower, Shinsu replaces air and carries out all the processes that air would. So there was air at one point within the tower, so to be stated, but Shinsu has now overtaken that role and provides all the basic necessities throughout the tower on every single floor. So now that we have a basic understanding of Shinsu and what its properties are within the world of Tower of God, you also see that Liroro was actually mentioned as a ranker. One of the bare minimum requirements of a ranker is being able to directly control Shinsu, which in itself is a very rare talent, and it could be said that the talent itself is an absolute necessity to become a ranker. But at a base level, if not all regulars have some degree of control over Shinsu, although this does not mean that all regulars can become skillful manipulators of said Shinsu. Now, I'm not going to discuss exactly what a ranker is and what their position means within the world of Tower of God, but one of the bare minimum requirements to become a ranker is to have direct control over Shinsu, which in itself is a rare talent, as if not all regulars have some degree of control over Shinsu, although this does not mean that all regulars can become skillful manipulators of Shinsu itself. There are many other things in the world of Tower of God that will come up in the upcoming few episodes, such as wave controllers, contracts, and bangs and how they work, but I won't be discussing them in this video, as this video is just going to be about Shinsu. And that pretty much covers the basics of what Shinsu is within the world of Tower of God. So let's go over the few points that we've mentioned. We've mentioned that Shinsu has no unifying laws within how it works within the world of Tower of God. We figured out that it flows differently in each different place and floor. We know that each floor has areas of varying amounts of Shinsu density, which increases by each floor that you progress. Flow of Shinsu is entirely different in different places and floors, and of course is determined by the floor guardian. The flow of Shinsu determines its qualities, allowing it to appear as different elements, other phenomena, and materials. And of course that Shinsu has no singular property or feature, and it is rather the very basis of energy and things within the tower, and it is pretty much the breathing life force of the tower, allowing everyone to stay alive. So now understanding that Shinsu is basically the main power and driving force of how individuals are going to be interacting, fighting, and progressing with each other, I hope that you guys have somewhat of a better understanding of what Shinsu is within the world of Tower of God, and whenever it does come up again in the series, you guys will have a better understanding of what it is and how it exactly works. So once again, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.